Thank you for tuning in to the Bud and Roach Show.
So one thing that I think I really got out of quarantine was an opportunity to really sit back and watch Chappelle. I think I went through everything that Netflix had for Chappelle. And one by one, you know, his brilliance shined through. He's probably the greatest stand-up comic of our generation, of maybe arguably all generations. Who knows? Time will tell. But then one day, recently, there was a tweet that I saw that said Dave Chappelle's new stand-up, 846, basically talks about George Floyd, all the controversial issues, BLM, everything. And the first thing I did was I pulled it up and I watched it. And you know, I did I text you as soon as I pulled it up?
You text me. I saw, first off, before you even hit me with it, before I saw it, I'd seen it. I was like, all right, Chappelle has it. I saw Chappelle surprise stand-up, Netflix stand-up. And, of course, it that, discusses George Floyd, Candace Owens, obviously BLM, like you said, Black Lives Matter, everything going on right now across the country. I saw that. So I'm like, all right, Chappelle did something on Netflix again out of nowhere. This is going to be probably some like Beyonce's sudden album drop.
That's
shit.
like the new thing, right?
Yeah. So when I saw that, I'm like, all right, first thing I went to do was go to Netflix and look it up. And it wasn't on Netflix. And then
That's the first thing I did too, bro. I swear to God.
Like, all right, let's put this on the big screen.
And I tried.
I tried to YouTube. And it's like, it was through Netflix, but it was through Netflix's YouTube.
So I ended up watching it right here.
Yeah, I watched it. I watched it on YouTube on Xbox.
The side note, the YouTube on the 360 don't even fucking work.
They stopped supporting it. Like, they're about to stop supporting it on my Mac, my version of my MacBook that I have. They keep telling me, yo, you need to upgrade your Chrome, or I don't know. I can't upgrade my Chrome anymore, guys. You won't support my my OS, so
that shit's crazy.
Yeah. It's nuts, man. With the Chappelle thing, man. Because the last one he came out with, man, was the one that everyone said was a lot of people mean spirited. It was mean.
Was that Sticks and Stones?
Sticks and Stones, yeah. That to me was one of Chappelle's best all time, man. Like, I felt like everyone got it equally. I felt like there was no one he missed the chance on.
That's the brilliance about Chappelle's. Like, he's gonna give it
to you equally. No one gets to.
There's no bias.
There's no bias. No one gets glossed over. No one gets a pass. I treat knowing I get a Dave Chappelle stand-up special the way I know I get South Park after a whole year of so much shit going on in the world. It's like, I know. It's like, all right, South Park, let's put it like this. South Park for this season ended, the season that just passed ended in like early December.
How long does it take to create a South Park
episode?
They
turn their episodes over within a week. They use they'll use earlier shit
because they got really current
for
stuff.
The early shit going on, and then for that current shit, they'll use their current shit. But they'll start developing their storylines based off the shit earlier that they couldn't touch on and whatever was good enough, and then they'll work on it some more. It's crazy, but I treated Chappelle stand up knowing, if South Park, this ain't going on, both sides gotta get it. I know they're gonna give to both sides the same way. I know Chappelle doing a stand up, both sides finna get it. It's not gonna be, I'm only gonna attack this side, I'm gonna make fun of them and just gloss over everything. Now, both sides, both your problems gonna be poked at.
You know what? Within the first 2 minutes, I already felt as though it was gonna be a TED Talk.
Yeah.
But because it was a TED Talk from Dave Chappelle, I was interested anyways. That's what I wanted. I wanted to hear his opinion. And even though he was pretty much saying that his opinion doesn't matter and the streets are talking for themselves,
like, that was
a huge point.
That was something that he said, he brought up the Don Lemon piece, where Don Lemon was like, I want to see you, Beyonce. I'm talking about you, Drake. I'm talking about you, like, Dave Chappelle.
And did you see Don Lemon's response to Chappelle?
No, man. The only reason I watched Don Lemon because I feel like CNN just frequently has like better like cameras set up for better like action shots during these live moments. I feel like whenever I watch MSNBC or Fox News, or, whenever these things happen, I told you I bounce through all the major cable news networks to see how they're all covering it. And I usually predominantly settle on CNN because I'll get more of what's going on and where it's happening, at least in the middle of it.
What's creepy is when people edit all of these different networks broadcast into one video and they're all saying the same exact thing.
That's kind of creepy when they do that. I've seen that a few times, more than a few times, like a bunch, or just they say key phrases. I don't know what they want to say. But seeing that, like, I've seen more than a few like that.
It's like Roddy Piper putting on those shades and saying the truth.
I feel you. But I've seen those I want to call them super cut, super splices, whatever you want to call them. But it's like. And it's almost like where you have in the movies where they'll splice up a bunch of words from people, actors, politicians throughout history saying words to make their speech. And that's kind of how it is, but it's just a current news reporting. So it's cool and creepy at the same time.
Did you see the one with the commercials? With the COVID commercials? That all the COVID commercials was doing the same exact thing. It's another
I feel like I did, and they had I feel like I saw it, but it became like the movie thing where like at the end of a movie they'll show all the screens with everything going on at once. All right, so we both I saw that one. It's
like somebody gave everybody a script, so follow this.
Sometimes that's how it feels. When it comes to this. When it comes, because you said that and you threw me off. I had my train of thought and I had where I wanted to go, and you said that again. I wanted to give it to you. You made me lose my train of thought. We were talking about what? We can't go rambling off the rails. Chappelle stand-up special. Chappelle stand-up special.
But you did say that off the rails should be.
If off the rails is gonna happen more frequently than not, man. Let's try to keep this one on the rails, man. Because Chappelle, there was a lot that happened. Obviously, in our last one, I said I was going to come at Candace Owens. I didn't go at her the way I wanted to. I just called her what I normally do, a squirrel-faced bitch.
I just watched the Candace Owens interview on Joe Rogan. He was fighting her, too.
I heard Joe Rogan schooled her. I would expect Joe Rogan to school her. Like, I don't watch Joe Rogan much, but everybody, I don't watch Joe Rogan. But if he schooled her, I appreciate it. If he'd have got her into a ground and pound, I maybe would have appreciated it more. But it is what it is. It is what it is. For Chappelle, man, Chappelle's stand-up was gripping for a few reasons. It was raw. It was so raw. You don't see Dave Chappelle take a notebook on stage. This isn't. This isn't. No, stop. Let me do this. This isn't. The comedy hour at Pine Box Rock Shop hosted by Joe Cocozello with a bunch of fucking nobodies who think that somebody will need to have a book up there to get their jokes off. This is Dave Chappelle. I've never seen this man with a notepad, a book, a phone, anything.
I thought about you.
I've never seen him need to look. When I saw Chappelle take that notebook on stage, you know what I thought? I need to get a notebook. I need to start writing down my thoughts.
I've been telling you to do that shit for
when I saw Chappelle with a notebook, that's immediately what I thought, like, maybe should have a notebook and be writing down these thoughts.
I saw that shit.
This is thought.
My first thought was Zoe would be furious at this right now, but then I thought maybe not, because this is Chappelle. This is serious. And by the context of the entire fucking, thing that he did, you could tell it was a serious subject. He had to take notes. He didn't want to lose anything.
He didn't want to lose anything. He kept going back. He kept I don't want to lose my spot. To witness what we saw there, we got to look inside his process. I'm pretty sure he probably has clubs he goes to, tries out jokes. They probably take phones or something. After seeing what they went through to record the Boss's Netflix special, I'm pretty sure if he goes anywhere and he's doing a set, they're doing the same thing. All your phones is going into those pouches. You don't get them unless you step outside. That's the only way you get your phone back, is outside of this venue. And you don't come back in until it goes back in there. You don't come back in, period. And it is just it was raw, man, with him talking about the time of birth. Why it kept coming back to it, because the time he died, the amount of time they nailed on that Derek Chauvin nailed on George Floyd's neck was his time of birth, 8:46 a.m. He brought up the whole thing with Kobe. He's like, which was something that had nothing to do with this, but you saw like he's working on a new stand-up, and he brought up, Kobe, and
crying.
how it brought him up, and he's like, yo, I couldn't bring myself to go there.
8/24.
Like he said something else.
Birthday.
It's his birthday. It's his birthday, and it's like at the Grammys at the Staples Center, he died that morning. I won my first Grammy, and you're hanging his jerseys there. He's like, I couldn't go there. I couldn't accept it. He's like, I cried.
Like that shit.
Like, nigga, like,
I remember that day.
I remember that. That's one of those days I'm gonna remember vividly. I'll remember that. Like, I'll remember hearing about where I was when Sean Taylor got shot. I was talking to my girl's uncle, who I had the massive amount of tequila with this past Saturday. Shout out to Uncle Glenn.
Call y'all the Splash Brothers.
Might as well, man. But we had a shitload of tequila, from what I'm told. But we were talking about music, and my girl's dad and her mom were telling me about how he loved like rap growing up. He loved hip hop. He loved the jacket. Like first he loved the soul music, but as he got older and rap came out, like he was the one who gravitated towards rap, and like he loved Big. Like me and him sat out there and had to talk about Big. I remember I was telling him, like, and this is going to this about days I remember. I still remember vividly waking up on March 9th that Sunday morning. And I was telling him, like, no one, like, we don't listen to Hot 97 on a Sunday. But for some reason, my brother woke up and turned on the radio to Hot 97. And within 5-10 minutes, we heard Angie Martinez announce that Notorious B.I.G., Christopher Wallace, Brooklyn's prodigal son, was dead, had been killed, gunned down. And I mean, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking about it. And it's like he's talking about how he could never, like, these are days you'll never forget, numbers you'll never remember, these things. We'll always remember March 9th. We won't remember, like, March 9th is my cousin Vanessa's birthday. But as terrible as it is, I'll always remember March 9th and much more as the day Biggie died. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like with Chappelle, with that, the way Chappelle said it, man, he broke it down, and the way things are going. Anyone who could look at what he said, man, and this, fuck the Candace Owens, fuck the little shit, and then that's the funniest shit too. People thought he might have went at Azalea Banks. He said her name one time and used that as a punchline for his punchline. He said, "You're so much of a joke. I'm going to use the fact that you're a joke to bolster my joke."
He didn't even shine too much light on that.
Oh,
shit.
he says, "I tell like Azalea Banks." He used, "I kick Candace Owens and sticky pussy. I don't know if a pussy things. I don't know. If I find out, I tell like this Azalea Banks." That was it. That's it. So fast. He used.
But she's known for being a fucking nut job.
Yeah. He used you as a punchline to bolster his punchline, because the fact that you're a punchline, is that considered a double or triple entendre the way he used it there?
She's like Orlando Brown.
I think Orlando Brown probably has a bit more brand recognition. Would that be the right term?
You think so?
I don't want to say brand recognition, but Orlando Brown is a Disney kid. I definitely know he was in Max Keeble's Big Move last time I saw it. That's so he's a Disney kid.
He's probably collected more residual checks than
still
she has.
Yeah, I'm guaranteeing he's still like, oh, those Disney kids get residuals for life. That's why their parents get them in Disney.
What
That's
was
why
it?
their
That's
parents
So
wanna
Raven?
That's So Raven. God knows what else he probably did there. Any That's So Raven spin-offs or movies made for TVs.
You know what's
anything
funny?
I mean, although Disney owns it, but it going to streaming on Disney Plus, do you get residuals from that? Because that's a different platform opening up.
I don't want to take us too far away from the topic, but just very quickly, I was going through all our episodes, and I realized that just a couple months before that situation went down with that we had to exercise the trademark, we did a podcast
On
called the
trademark
on
is so
the
important.
fucking the power of trademarks. It's like, I don't understand. You got to listen to the podcast. We already said this.
I don't want to say his name as Brent, but I want to say more people know who Orlando Brown is as as a reflection of the work he's put in, as opposed to more people know Azalea Banks.
I don't know any of her work. I don't know what she does.
I know none of her work. We at least know some of his work.
I know her
he's
name.
a bit of a nut job. We know her name because she's a bit of a nut job. So who would have more recognition there? That's what I allude to.
I actually have an Orlando Brown song in my phone.
You told me
that "Welcome to America" shit.
That wasn't bad, man.
I like it.
But once and you know it's crazy. Where's he been since this last video where he was threatening to beat up his girlfriend?
Somebody filmed him in the street with a bunch of luggage. Like he was, it looked kind of homeless, but I wasn't too sure. I don't want to draw the conclusions. He could have been going to the airport.
You never know, man.
I just hope he's still getting those residual checks, bro.
Yeah, I would hope so. I would hope that if he's, I mean, look at it like this. To see the way Amanda Bynes, and this is completely like we were talking about Chappelle. This is kind of going off the rails, but we talked about Disney kids. To see the way she was nowhere to be seen, and then she only came back into the spotlight because she was going out of her fucking mind. Like tossed a bong out the 36 some odd floor somewhere in Midtown, got arrested.
She tossed a bong?
Like she was down, like it was crazy. Like, and it's like it's a track record, and it's like these kids that are in that. But what do you need to see for that, man? Like I don't know. It's just
it comes down to John Mayer has a line, and I think it's Gravity. It says, "It's wanting more that's gonna send me to my knees." You know, you taste a little success, and you want more of that shit. So you're willing to do more. You're willing to sacrifice more. And then by the end of it, you don't have anything anymore. Everything belongs to someone else, and now you're at the 36th floor.
You belong to someone else.
Fucking throwing bombs out the window.
You've given up so much of yourself.
Your soul. And
that's why, like, and this has still nothing to do with that, but I told you earlier today, for the first time, I heard Black Sabbath. And I don't want to say for the first time I heard it. I know I've heard Black Sabbath songs before in my life. But I'll say I listened to Black Sabbath for a while today while I was out. It just came up on my Spotify and just played. I let it play through. And I heard some songs. And it's, I told my parents, I was like, I never really listened to Black Sabbath before when I got home today. And I told them, aside from, like I told you, aside from all the Prince of Darkness, to Lucifer, Satan, devil shit, I actually kind of like the music. Like Ozzy, I won't even say Ozzy. I'll say his band. I don't know if Ozzy was playing those instruments, but I will say them motherfuckers could play.
Nah, he could play.
I'm pretty sure some of them were Ozzy.
He could fucking play.
But listening to that shit, like that shit, like that shit was rocking, man.
One of the first songs that young guitarists try to learn how to play is "Crazy Train." The riff, and
I'm going off the rails on a crazy train.
You go to guitar. I mean, I was the manager at Guitar Center. Remember when I was managing Guitar Center? You walk in there, you got all the young boys trying to play that shit. They knew who Ozzy was, bro.
Like, I never. I mean, but look where I grew up. Would I really be listening to Black Sabbath?
Bro, the same way that I grew up listening to Pac and Biggie and all that shit, but I still listen to John Mayer, and so did you.
Yeah,
you could have. You listened to Linkin Park too.
But I didn't. Those things had to be introduced to me. Pac, Big. There were certain things that my ear went to. There were certain things that had to be introduced to me. Like, you're gonna like this. Like, I remember that. This might go. I think this might qualify for halfway off the rails.
That sounds like the name of the podcast. Halfway off the rails.
You introduced me on the Matrix soundtrack. That song, it's a Rage Against the Machine song at the end when Neo's like, I'm gonna show you what I can do, and he flies up at the screen, and and there's like the opening track on the soundtrack of the Matrix soundtrack. And I remember trying to put my friends on to that shit, my friends around then, and that was when I realized, like, there's just people that I may end up outgrowing in life.
And you know what? You came to a lot of my shows and supported a lot of my shows. I was doing alt rock, even the acoustic shit.
Like, when I told that there was a actress in my show last summer who she thought I was joking about how big of a John Mayer fan I was, because she always had an acoustic guitar playing on breaks in between shows. And like, I was, yo, let me hear. I want to hear some John Mayer. She thought I was joking. She kept telling me to ask one of the other show members. Like he knows. I was like, I want to hear you. I see you. I want to see you. I want to hear you singing. And like, she thought I was joking until one day I broke out the Mayer, man. And she, oh my God, like you were. I was like, you think? I was like, why do you think I would be joking about my love for John Mayer? Bro, I was like, I get it's kind of comical when it's me. You hear me, you see me walk in bumping with my headphones, the shit y'all hear me rapping on when I walk in. But for me to actually say I'm a John Mayer fan, I get it.
They don't want to know the truth.
But I don't joke around when it comes to my musical interest, man. Just like, yo, you want to know who's the first person I told I like that Taylor Swift song with Brandon Urie?
Whoa.
My boss Kenny. And that motherfucker was ashamed of me. He's like, are you serious? And he walked away from me like, yo, bro, I didn't know it was her, but I like the song so fucking. I told him why I like it, and he was like, I get it. That seems like something you like, but he's like, get it together. He's like, get it together.
Bro, when I was still a manager at Guitar Center, and I had the accessory section, and remember Javi, right? Javi was the manager in drumming. So we had
no, I do not remember Javi. I don't remember Javi, who was around so much during all we did during the early runs.
I'm saying this for radio purposes.
Yeah, of course, I remember Javi, man.
So he had the drumming section, which was all the way on the other end of the store.
That motherfucker got wicked. I just want to say that motherfucker got wicked on the drums.
Oh yeah, and he's still going. He's not even like, he hasn't even peaked yet, bro. Like, wait till all this shit is over with. But that's a whole other podcast. We both had the same DVD playing, and everyone in the store that worked with us was popping shit, especially in the back area. You go to the back area during lunchtime, everybody's there. What the fuck is wrong with Alex and Javi? All they're doing is playing this fucking John Mayer bullshit, because it was a DVD where the light.
Come on, yo.
God,
why would you? Yo, like, you know what's crazy? If you listen to all of Where the Light Is, he goes through so much. He does his set. He does like the electric set was electric. He brings out the trio. Bro. He does his acoustic set, and then the encores. He does like 7-8 fucking encores.
Like, I don't understand why people was hating.
Yo, like, I get you want to hate John Mayer, the pop icon, the guy with all this stuff in the tabloids, but who says I can't get stoned? Turn off the lights and the telephone.
He's just a brilliant songwriter.
John Mayer, I tell people Gravity. When I had so many people, there was a time in my life where all I kept quoting on Facebook was Gravity, were lyrics from Gravity, and a lot of people couldn't get it. And it's like, you won't get it. Like, you won't get that. Like, I feel like I'm falling, nothing's controlling me. Like, a lot of people just...
And the Gravity performance on that DVD. Because there's Gravity, and then there's the Gravity performance on that DVD, bro.
See, there's Gravity on the album. There's the Gravity, the times he performed it live and got really good. And then there's Gravity live on John Mayer, Where the Light Is. I have a few live versions, and he killed it. Like, I have comfortable a few live times.
Even an acoustic one that I've seen.
Yeah, he's killed it. But I had to tell, like, I'll tell you like this. Like when one of my homies, someone we recorded with, was deep in his heartbreak, getting over it, and he found the Mayer Man, and he was listening. He's like, and he's like, I've been listening to this shit on repeat. He's like, I have been listening to this on repeat. I have been listening to this on repeat.
Oh.
And I told him, like, I know what you're going through, but you wanna feel it. You wanna feel the emotion and know and work through it the hardest. Yeah, Gravity off Continuum is gonna get you there. I was like, you gotta go Gravity Where the Light Is, and you get the whole thing, and you have to, because it starts out, I've got dreams to remember. I got dreams to
bro,
remember.
I would be behind the counter, bro, in front of the register. I'm here just right behind the register, bro, watching the TV. There's nobody in the store. It's early in the morning. Store just opened. I barely made any cash, bro. But I'm the manager, so I'm supposed to feel proud of myself. And I'm staring at John Mayer saying, I hope one day I could do that.
There's only one other, I won't say live version of Gravity, but it's played stripped, and it's not by John Mayer.
Grab the other video.
Yeah. Have you ever heard Sarah Bareilles, Gravity?
Sarah Bareilles?
Sarah Bareilles, Gravity. Yo, I only discovered this song. Obviously, I knew who Sarah Bareilles was from when she first came out. She had Love Song that I'm not gonna write you a love song cause you asked for it, cause you need one.
What is it, a pop song?
No, it's not pop. Her Gravity is, and when she plays it, like the version she plays with just the piano, she like the stripped version, she comes on and it starts and she says, "This is a song about my first real horrible heartbreak." So here it goes. And she just goes, and something always brings me back to you. And it never takes too long. Yo, like I love John Mayer Gravity, but yo, her version, like it's not just the same song, the same name, not the same song, but her song Gravity, bro. When you want to talk about breaking me down, yo, that shit. As a matter of fact, when we get off here, I'm gonna play it for you.
You ever heard Ray LaMontagne?
I've heard Ray LaMontagne.
Woo! I'm talking about. This is when I was like still Jehovah's Witness, in love, thinking I was gonna get married in the church. I was on Ray LaMontagne, bro, trying to play his songs on a fucking beat up electric guitar. His shit was all acoustic. I was like, yeah, I need to get an acoustic. I sound like an idiot right now.
Yeah, man, it was just, yo, I like that. I mean, I just
Joshua Radin.
I was about to say Joshua Radin. Won't you be the new one built to shine? Yo, yeah. And you know what's good? I remember when I told you when you played Josh, I was like, yo, is that Joshua Radin? He's like, how do you know him? I was like, nigga, Scrubs. Scrubs, baby.
Zach Braff was breaking a lot of indie artists at that time,
he broke
bro.
the freight of me.
Holy
Yo,
shit.
after when I realized I heard when it took me so, I've told the story a million times, but the Freight How to Save a Life, before it broke at least a year on mainstream before it exploded because of Grey's Anatomy. At least a year ahead of that on Scrubs. And I searched LimeWire, I searched Winamp, I searched WinamX, I searched everywhere with every fucking title they said, except for at the end of that goddamn chorus, because I didn't think of it. How to save a life.
Do you think that television is still in the position that TV shows can break records? Because that really happened during the time that this was like UPN9 and WB11.
I won't say can break records. I can say some can break records. I will say can give records recognition. I won't say can break records or artists, but can give records recognition. Because think of it like this. I'll say Graduation, Kanye West, got a huge boost when it did as a result of it being on Entourage when it did. Because he was coming out that Tuesday, and that Sunday, you close out an episode of Entourage where you know the people in your demographic who are huge Kanye West fans. You pop up in the episode, and you premiere a fucking track in their closing titles. He premiered Good Time in their closing titles. So, yes and no. At the same time, I'll put it like this. Rihanna, before she blew up mainstream, her songs were playing early in season 2, about a year and a half before we heard her on the radio on this coast. A year and a half before. Saigon. Like, there are shows that can, and it's not the easiest thing to do. I won't say it can break artists like they used to, but it's possible. Not the same way.
I mean, there's just when it comes down to distribution now, back in the day for people that didn't have this type of technology, you had dial-up internet at best and then terrestrial TV. You still had TVs that had fucking knobs on it. So if you wanted to watch something like Smallville and you knew it came on, I think it was Channel 11, then you go on Channel 11 and you watch it at the time that it's going to be broadcasted. And outside of that time, if you miss that show, then you fucking missed the show. So there was a lot more attention drawn to this particular fucking time slot on this particular network, that when the music was accompanying each one of these shows, it had a bigger impact. Like, I think one of the perfect examples would be, you know, that preview that they did for, I forgot what pay-per-view it was, when they did Creed for Stone Cold Steve Austin.
My Sacrifice.
When
when they did WWE had that little series where they did them. They had the YouTube Beautiful Day. Undertaker had one. I can't remember what song he had, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I have
perfect placement.
I have a external hard drive that's powered, AC powered, that I guarantee you I have those videos on. The Stone Cold one, and honestly, that's why that's the only reason I knew My Sacrifice or Beautiful Day. And Beautiful Day, that might be the only YouTube song I know. The YouTube song I know like word for word. I know they did like One Love, but I don't know any other songs after that.
I feel like there was just, you know, a good record on a good show could change the whole goddamn dynamic.
It could change the dynamic for the network, for the show, for the artist. Let's put it like this: Gavin DeGraw. Who knew who Gavin DeGraw was? Not Chariot, nigga. He had the opening. His song was the opening song for One Tree Hill. I don't want to be anything other than what I've been trying to be lately. All I have to do is, like, that was his song. That broke him, and then he broke everything else on that show. He never broke another artist.
You know, I had one interaction with him.
You told me. Then you play his spot, like National Underground.
So I played there twice. The first time that I played there, he wasn't there, and I had a crowd. The second time I played there, nobody showed up. It was just me, you know, the girl I was banging at the time, and then, you know, maybe like one other person. And I was so embarrassed, bro, because I was walking around like I was the shit. And then he was there that night. And I went upstairs and I just made some bullshit excuse. I was like, yo, you know, I got a family emergency. I can't play. And he just looked at me like, you're never going to make it in this business. That was the look that he gave me. It was just like, you're never going to make it in this business.
Nigga. Family emergency wouldn't have sent you upstairs. And I'm going to tell you the thought process he had there. If you had a real family emergency, you'd just boogie.
I would have just left.
You just left him. Hey, I got a family emergency. It's cooler. Is it cool if I leave? I have a dire family emergency. It's cool with you if I leave? No, nigga. Dire family emergency means you leave, and then I'm calling around and figure out where you are. You let me know I had a dire family emergency. Sorry, I didn't tell you before.
And then I didn't play for 9 months. And then I did a return show at 169 Bar. You was there?
Probably.
I was watching all these videos because I'm doing a little documentary for the Patreon, so I was just kind of reliving all this shit.
Man, I mean, that's the shit though, man.
This shit started about Chappelle. This is gonna be it's fully off the rails.
Fully off the rails, man. I think there's no answer for this. We went off the rails. It happens, man. And this time, I mean, it's oil and we're 6 deep.
Nah, but I mean, we're gonna be in the studio in a couple.
We're gonna be in the studio in a few days. We'll come back to Chappelle. We just went off the rails here, but since we're still off the rails, man, I'm talking about breaking artists and TV shows, man. I think that used to be a huge avenue for people to do it. And now they look to get a splashy, like, big artist to put their show out there.
Because now it's not. Everything is on demand.
All right, let's put it like this. When this season of Power, when they tried to change that song from annoying ass player hating Joe, I don't have to see the credits for that song to know Joe. That's Joe. I wanna know. I know that's Joe singing that. That come from a big rich town.
From what show was that?
Power.
Oh.
And they tried this season at one time to switch it up and had Trey Songz singing that motherfucker. And everybody online was like, "Yo, why is Trey Songz singing this shit?" Yo, it took. Yeah, I don't even think it went through the whole week with him singing that. Like, yo, the re-airings later that week are like, "Yo, kill it, crush it." Like, get rid of it. Like, they don't like it. We gotta get it back to
get the fuck out of here, bro.
It's just doing. I couldn't imagine it, man. But that shit,
the whole thing is that, you know, even with cable, you could have 1,000 channels, right? But you can only watch 1,000 things.
Yeah.
At any given time, because you got to go on the channel guide. You got to see what's going on at what time. So if at 9 o'clock that's the time that you have available, you just got off of work, you're gonna crack a beer and you're gonna just relax in your crib. So you turn on the TV, it's 9 o'clock. Now you got all these different options, but that's the 9 o'clock options. The networks with the biggest budget is gonna put you on the biggest platform. Yeah. Now something like Netflix, that, what is it, $12 a month? What I don't know what the price is now. Probably like $14 now.
It's like $14.99 some shit now.
And you got fucking unlimited. Like, it's really a huge fucking library, bro.
I mean, it's a huge library in Netflix. I'll say this. I'll say the one thing. If I was an artist, I would prefer my music to end up on a Netflix show, simply because it's not at a time anyone who has it can see it, hear it. I want to see the amount of, like, how, I'll put it like this. We've seen a resurgence in 80s and 90s music, but not from 80s and 90s kids or 80s and 90s babies. From people born after the fact, who this is new to them. From people who were born, who they hear, let's say, who's a 90s motto, "This is how we do it." To them, that's like, yo, we got some classic R&B rocking. Where to us, classic R&B is like the Isley Brothers, "Between the Sheets."
All I've been doing, I swear to God, if Brenna was out here, she'll tell you, I've been playing Isley Brothers and R. Kelly, Contagious, every single day for the past like week and a half.
What the hell is going on between the sheets in my home? Baby, wait, let me explain before you start to point your cane. Girl, he's about to have a fit. Oh, it's about to be some shit. How did I get into this shit? Never came home with this bitch. Low down there, won't like the way you come from. Oh, it's the biggie way, your ass is grass. Yeah. Wait, how you know my name, sir?
And the video's even funnier,
I was gonna tell you, move, this cat looks real familiar.
There's slow motion acting.
Don't I know you from somewhere a long time ago? No, I don't think so. Yeah, I feel I know this,
wake up the baby, bro. I think the baby's sleeping.
You can't bring up Contagious, man.
Yo,
like Mr. Biggs is like, nigga,
really
didn't I kill Mr. Biggs? Like, nigga, didn't I kill you in a music video like 10 years ago? Didn't you fuck my girl in a music video and I beat you half to death and beat her to death?
Beat him like Pesci in Casino.
It's like, yo, she's still pretty. She's still pretty. You gotta stop. Come on, Mr. Biggs. You gotta stop. You gotta stop. Yo, I remember that. Down low.
So you gotta really.
The fucked up part about Down Low and the Down Low remix is Mr. Biggs don't sing on either one of those motherfuckers. He just in the video. So this nigga's like, nigga, didn't I kill you in your own video? Yo, Ronald Isley. You know what's crazy though? There's a song that's attributed to Jackie Wilson that I had no idea was him. The song, you know, you make me want to shout, throw your hands up and shout,
that's
throw
him?
your hands back and shout. Yo, he's one of the only other two black. I'll say, I was the person who mainly was in the Bushwick office for MySpace that was African American. There'd be other people stopping there. There were a couple other people in there, came and went. There was another, actually, I was one of two. There was another lady there older than me. I wish I could talk to her now because I would love to know her view on everything because she's from the South. She saw shit. She was older than me. She tried to take me under her wing and had other shit going on and couldn't. But she tried from the jump. She was one of the few people that reached out to me from my first day there, tried to help me out. Even saw me struggling through the shit with my ex. And being older, tried to just give me older wisdom. Like, baby, advice. What she told me was, baby, you gotta let that go. When she saw the picture of me and my ex after we had broken up and it was still on my phone, she's like, oh, who's that? She's really pretty. I was like, oh, that's me and my ex-girlfriend. She's like, your ex-girlfriend? You gotta let that go, baby. That's what she told me. Like that.
You had the picture as what, a screensaver?
My screensaver on my phone. But still screensaver. You know that was a rough spot for me. It was a rough spot. I'm not gonna lie about it. We could,
bro.
I don't want to. I don't want this to go too long. We can continue that. We can continue that on this next part.
We'll do another one.
Yeah, we'll do it. I don't want this to go too long.
But
but now
let me just say this.
I'm finishing Mr. Biggs. real fast. Nigga, I had no idea. I thought it was Jackie Wilson, right? So one other, African American artist, and somebody said something. I was like, yo, ain't that Jackie Wilson? And he's like, nah, you don't know who that is. I was like, if that ain't Jackie Wilson, I ain't gonna guess it. He's like, you could definitely guess it, but he's like, I'm promising you, as young as he was, you wouldn't know who that was. And I was like, yo, you say young, I'm not gonna guess it. He's like, yo, that's Ronald Isley. I was like, nigga, Mr. Biggs? And somebody's like, who's Ronald Isley? And I was like, I just said Mr. Biggs, but from the Isley brothers. And I was like, yo, I had no idea, bro. Like, taught me. I was like, yo, school me. And when I told my dad, he was like, you ain't know that? When I told my dad, and my dad was like, you ain't know that, it's like, yo, man, like, why is it always gotta be like this? I gotta learn something.
So that was Ronald Isley on that song?
It's the Isley brothers, but it's him singing. It's the Isley brothers playing everything, but it's Ronald Isley singing, young Ronald Isley.
You just put me on to that shit. Yeah, I think we gotta. I wanna get a lot of work done on Saturday.
Yeah, we got it, man. We got some space to make up for. You know what though? I'll say we did a extremely good job through COVID.
I'm not even worried about filling the gaps in between this COVID stuff, because honestly, that's just a reflection of what the world went through. We couldn't. We tried our hardest, and I don't want to go back and put funny episodes during the entire Black Lives Matter
shit. Like I was thinking about that too. Like I thought, let's record just so we have them in, like we used to say, loaded up in the barrel. The whole thing that this happened through, I think it'll be a reflection of us, because you can see how, even listening to my voice, you know me, I don't ever reach those levels. In that space, you could hear how loud I was bouncing off the walls.
Yeah, bro.
You can hear me bouncing off the walls with how loud I was. I don't mean me, but my voice, my sound is bouncing off the walls. So I think if you know anything about that, you'll see it. For us, as far as we go, I'm okay with that. If we have to, I know we know what our streak went, and I know anyone. We're beyond streaks, man. We went 90. We went 90 some odd weeks live. No, we went 90 some odd weeks before we took the break during the initial run. We went every day, even through everything with your family and Angie doing Good Morning Bushwick. Like, we got up. I was unemployed and jobless to go to AM every Saturday. I had to get trained. Bro. I had to get cab fare from my fucking parents. So, like, my determination record is there, man. So that's
why I think we're beyond trying to keep track of streaks. I think now we just need to
just put it out. I think our streaks are fun. Keeping track of, obviously, I would love to know. We're not going to hit 365 because we lost the time, like 365, for it to be an actual day. Boom, 365 now on the year on Spotify. I know we're coming back. We're coming close on a year in this format because we started it after I closed out my show last year. Yeah. Before I took my break.
What we should do, let me just fill you in on this. We need to have a list of 5 or 6 things that any one of those things should get done at least one per day, and let that be a streak. So, like if I get the Xbox One, and we start doing, playing games together and shit. Yo, we put out a video. All right, we put out a video that day. That's what we did. And then we do the podcast here, and then we'll do, this here, and then, but we always got to be doing something.
We do, but you know what, through what was going on, I'll say for the first part of this quarantine and everything that went on throughout the world through this first part of this crazy time, we kept up with it the best way we could and filled in the time to keep it daily. And
this was probably one of the scariest times of my life. Like,
both ways, bro. Between COVID and everything in the streets, man. Just Jesus Christ.
This was fucked up.
Like, it wasn't fun to live through this, man. And I keep seeing people making joke memes, man, about when kids get when kids in 2050 or 2040 get the history section and they see they get a different something every day for 2020. And it's like one of those like PTSD memes or something, like where it's like, oh my God, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you guys are still, this is the problem with this generation. We get this is traumatic. Making jokes about it isn't fixing it. It's masking. The same way with people who drink to hide their problems. People who use drugs to hide their problems. Coping mechanism. And our generation doesn't realize we say we're okay with it. No, that's why we all cry. That's why we all need to go to therapy. That's why we all need fucking antipsychotics.
Yeah, but you throw out a hashtag like YOLO, and then you got half the population not giving a fuck.
Yeah, man. And it's crazy, man. I mean, in the middle of all this, you have people in these protests remembering there's still a pandemic, and you have people other places who it's like, all right, we're open, pandemic's over. No, pandemic doesn't end just because shit opens back up.
You got people throwing parties, getting strippers, getting naked.
Just let's put it like this. Ezekiel Elliott, Dallas Cowboys, NFL star running back, has COVID-19. They said multiple Dallas Cowboys and Houston Texans have COVID. They have said multiple players I think it was 6 or 7 people in the University of Houston athletics program somewhere, players that recently came back to campus when Texas reopened, have tested positive COVID. Earlier today, University of Texas football, the Texas Longhorns, Hook 'em Horns, 19 players tested positive for COVID-19, 10 more in self-quarantine.
God damn.
I told my brother, I don't think I'm getting sports back this year. I'm not getting baseball. I'm not going to get to see the end of the NBA season. I don't think we're going to get the NFL season. I don't think we're going to get it. Honestly, right now, the heart of me is saying, and even if they do it, I think it's going to take one play in any sport. Any sport, once you restart, and then everybody.
So you know what? That's why I need to get the Xbox One right now, so we could run through seasons.
Word, man. I was honestly thinking, man. Now, I mean, honestly, no, not now, because my brother. You know, it's funny. We're completely off the rails. You know how I feel about when we play 2K. It annoys me to no end, especially on the newer version. With someone like you, I can live with it because you don't play it as often. When you play defense off the ball and let the computer guard me, I can live with that. When I call my brother, when I call Lorenzo off for that, that's strategy. I'm like, nigga, if I wanted the computer guarding me, nigga, I'd play the computer at that time. Me and my nephew were playing 2K20.
I think it's strategy
not yesterday,
too, though.
The day before. It's strategy to a certain point. I use it
because I'm anticipating the pass.
Nah, I use it not to anticipate a pass. I use it if I see that the person I had guarding someone, that person beat them. I'll keep that person so that the computer doesn't beat that person and leave them in position to not get beat. When I see, if I was guarding them and I saw that person get beat, I'm sending it there. That's the only time I'll leave it on, and I'll put them in position so that the computer's there to guard it, and I'll go back to the other person. Because when I'm playing a game, you know me, when I'm playing a game, I want to be in control of everything. If I'm playing a game, I need to control that.
But it's also that I know that if I'm using the player that's playing you, I'm going to get a foul. because especially with the controls from back in the day. Like I'm still playing like 2K from the Dreamcast and shit. You always fucking smacking. It's an easy foul. I don't know how it is now. But.
Like like that. And I told but here's the thing. I call Lorenzo out on that all the time, and just straight up. Yo, I did it one time by accident playing my nephew the other day, and he called me out on that shit. And I told him, like, yo, next time you playing your dad and you see him do that, say, that's how Uncle says you're only allowed to beat him now. I told him, I want you to tell him that. And I tell my brother that all the time, bro. Like, you have never had to do that to beat me in the game, but now that I've finally regained, like, the dominance in this, like, you're pulling out every fucking piece of shit cheese. And I've told him, like, yo, he goes to the same back down move and turn to the side under the basket where once you turn, like, the computer, like, you just, for whatever reason, can't stay there. No matter what I do to try to stay.
Your brother doesn't give a fuck how he wins as long as he wins.
As long as he wins. Me, I want to play it out, and me too also, when I know I have the lead and I know you're not in a position to come back, nigga, I turn it.
Yeah, but the way you
play, I
take
my foot off my net.
The way you play,
your foot off the net.
You could never go and play at a real tournament for money.
No.
The people like your brother end up winning.
Yeah,
because there's no emotion.
There's no but also I love sports, and I don't think once I'm up 40 points, nigga, you're not coming back from this. Like, I'm coasting. Like, you know what I'm saying? There are people who can't. Like, there was someone who just won one of the Madden tournaments, Ultimate Teams, where you like the same way me and my brother play. You have points, you draft your team. He played the whole tournament, didn't run a single pass play. Didn't even draft a quarterback. Had a punter playing quarterback, and won the whole thing. And I'm sorry, bro. Like, I'm not playing someone that's cheese shit. I'm sorry.
But you gotta figure out ways to beat them.
Nah.
If it's within the game's capabilities, you gotta figure out a way to beat them.
Within the game's capabilities is also a way of saying I can't play the game the way it was designed to be played. I need to. They're just saying that there's a big difference between being Bill Belichick and being that guy just trying to hope you do something borderline illegal and get away with it. Bill Belichick knows everything about the rules, and he twists the rules, and he's like, yo, that's a rule. So if I do this and that underneath these rules, that's legal. That's why the NFL, when Bill Belichick does something explicit, like, yo, we left that loophole there, we got to close that.
When you look at the record books, when you look at the record books, Eddie Guerrero was still champion. And he lied, cheated, and stole. So it don't matter, bro. It's strategy.
No
strategy. If I don't play you, if you're
playing a football game, American gridiron football, in this era, and you don't even draft, if you have a quarterback and you don't run a single passing play, I can understand. But if you purposely build your team around the run,
if you can't stop the run,
but then also that comes along the things where people are saying, like, when it comes to like the glitch, this was Madden this year, and we reported on the problems and glitches in Madden. I reported last year with the problem in Madden where they put the update where no matter how you, like, yo, I could hit stick you full on, blow your head off, and you'll fall forward through me. Like, when, like, people know these exploits, and I tell my brother all the time, no matter how good they do it, sometimes they do. But there are people like you who sit there and realize an exploit they can work on, and they'll exploit it repeatedly. Because it is something that they can't patch, or that they've tried to patch and can't fix. And if they do try to fix it, it'll break the entire game. That's simple. That is simple mathematics.
So, morally, it matters. But if this is, like, acceptable behavior at a tournament, then the person got to eat that shit.
Yeah.
If it's acceptable.
It's acceptable. But, it's acceptable. It's fine. But I honestly tell people, yo, I don't respect it. If you win like that, cool. But if you want to brag about it, my nigga, you got that money. Nigga, you about to need that money for hospital bills, B, because my fists still work. My hands still work. And even when I watch these, like, even what annoys me more about it, man, when it's a motherfucker who's never played a sport. Like, I was watching last night, they had the 2K E-League, a tournament on. And I'm looking at these kids, and I'm like, none of you motherfuckers has even come off a bench in an actual basketball game in your whole career, or even your whole life, probably, since you're in, like, 5th or 6th grade. And these people, like, yeah, I can do this, I can do that, I get a triple-double that, nigga. Let's go on a real basketball court. Let's play a real sport. Let's do that. I tell people that all the time.
Yeah, but you speak with such emotion, bro.
Nah, man, like that shit.
You speak with emotion.
That shit. Looking at these people, like
because you're an athlete.
It's the same thing, like what athletes say. Yo, like when athletes, somebody who's never you've never played a sport, you've never touched the field. Why the fuck do you think because you sat there and got a degree and watched sports, you have the right to critique me? Yo, if I was some of these NFL stars, like when Deion Sanders threw that like bucket of ice water at that fucking reporter, one of my favorite moments to see. When some of these reporters shut down when some of these athletes shut down these reporters and shit on them, I love it. I love to see it. Like when Bryce Harper, that's a clown question, bro. Chris Paul. What do you expect me to say? We gonna lose tomorrow? We're not gonna be back here for Game 7?
Or Russell Westbrook.
It's a stupid question.
What?
What? like Russell Westbrook is this close to being the NBA version of fucking Marshawn Lynch.
I understand.
With that, I don't consider it. I don't. You know me. You also know me. Win or lose, I have a high level of sportsmanship. To make me be a bad sportsman, you have to be displaying bad sportsmanship. Win or lose, I try to be a good sportsman. Win or lose, during the game, I'll show some fire, integrity. I'll show some fire, some ferocity. End of the game, I want to win or lose. I want to shake hands, walk off like a man. But if you're a dick about it, if you're a dick at any point during that game, nah, man. Cause when I win, you know me, I win gracefully. When I lose gracefully, unless you cannot win gracefully. And then I'm a sore loser.
I've seen you lose less than gracefully sometimes.
Have you seen?
But that's a whole other podcast.
Have you seen me lose less than gracefully and that person won gracefully? You've never seen that. Have you ever seen me lose less than gracefully and that person won gracefully? That no one can say about me, because I have lost some blowout games playing ball, like physical. And at the end of it, it's like, y'all were the better team. You're a great sportsman, though. Shake hands with people, dap things up. Talk about, we lost this one. Like, when you did this, you did that move. When y'all went on that run, this steal, that. I tell everybody, I believe in sportsmanship. Like, if I knock somebody down, I'll help you up. If you make it and it's the same thing, like, when it comes to my stand-up. If you make me not be a decent person, even in the midst of battle on a fucking football field, basketball court, in the midst of battle playing a sport, if you make me not rise to be decent to help you up, that's a you thing, not a me thing. Because I always set the bar for decent at least.
So I'm going to give my final statement. Going back to Chappelle. I think you need to start writing your shit down, bro.
The thing is, my thoughts come so far and few between when it comes to that writing them down. I would have to have a book on me at all times. Because even when I say, last time, man, hold on.
You can record a voice note. You can write it on your fucking phone. You can text it to yourself.
I'll tell you right now. I went to do that last time. Me and my brother were together. We had two amazing podcast ideas, and we were fucked up. I got one down. I tried to remember the other one. I couldn't. I got one down in notes. Like, I need to put. There have been times I'm like, I need to put that in note. I have the green colored notes, so it's like, this is when I'm high. This is when I'm fucked up. I need to do that. The thought eludes me. The thought eludes my head before I could get it down on paper. It leaves. It's just, and when it comes to these thoughts, if they were that good, they would be there. They would stay there.
Those Apple Watches, so you could just talk into that shit and record.
If the thoughts were that good, and they'd be that great for material, they stay. That's the way I feel, man.
Nah, bro, you can't think like that. You cannot think like that, bro.
Yeah, man. Well, we're gonna come back on another one. So with everything there, you guys know you can get everything Bud and Roach related over at budandroach.com.
And you can follow us at Bud and Roach.
I need to stop saying that at Bud and Roach. I need to start putting that www. Man, I always fuck up.
Thank you for tuning in to the Bud and Roach Show.